I'm Preston.
And I'm Marcus. Welcome to Filmaholics Unscripted.
On today's episode, we're going to be reviewing Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice.
But first,
intro.
for those of you who don't know, this is Jay. He's a friend of ours. You may have seen him in the freeze frame video. Did a great job there.
Yeah.
He
froze.
He froze.
That was good.
He saw the movie with us, and we thought he'd like to sit in and do the review with us.
You can say hi.
Hi, guys.
He doesn't like you people, apparently.
Only a little bit.
Yeah. So, to get into it, Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice is directed by Zack Snyder. It's starring Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill, as well as a lot of other people that I'm sure we're going to get into.
If you don't want to be spoiled about anything, click right here. It'll skip through to the end where we'll just give our final thoughts. If you've seen the movie and you're ready to hear about it, here we go.
All right, so to get into pros first, I liked a lot of things about this movie. I really like, me and you saw it together.
Yep.
Marcus actually saw it, almost 4 days later, 3 days later.
Yeah.
Separate from us was a family that he was visiting. So when me and Jay saw it, the first thing I told him when we got out of the theater, and he also agreed, was some of the shots at the beginning, like with the pearl necklace around the chamber of the gun.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It's some really cool shots, and Zack Snyder just, you kind of expect it when you go to him, but he's kind of becoming like a Michael Bay at this point. But but at the same time, he's not like Michael Bay in the sense that he actually has quite a few redeemable qualities, especially in this movie.
The visuals for a significant part of the film were really, really nice. So, like you said, that's to be expected, really, from Zack Snyder. Ben Affleck killed it.
Yeah, he was great. Awesome Batman.
He and Jeremy Irons, anytime they were on screen together, it just worked.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. You immediately said that's Bruce Wayne and Alfred.
Well,
right?
every review so far has said that basically every part of the movie that was great involved Batman.
I don't know why people doubted Ben Affleck so much when they announced he was going to be Batman.
I didn't. I was one of the few.
I thought he was a great Batman. He was a great, angry, frustrated Batman.
Yeah, you believed
the workout montage.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really believed that he had a lot of built-up anger and really was looking for someone to be able to let that out on.
The intro where you see Ben Affleck and I think he's in Metropolis and is getting destroyed at the end of Man of Steel. That whole scene where you see Ben Affleck rushing to Wayne Tower and trying to save his employees and people that he loves are dying. Uh-huh. And in the midst of that, you see Superman fighting Zod. I thought that was so well put together.
And it even says, when it first opens, it says, whenever the world is introduced to the Superman. Mm-hmm. And then you just see all this destruction and you realize, oh yeah.
There's other point of views.
That's when you see, Bruce Wayne, really, that's when the switch flips.
Everyone's running from this big dust cloud. People screaming and running. But it made a very unreal situation seem very real. And when everyone's running from the dust cloud and the demolition of the city, Ben Affleck just rushes into it. And I loved it. I thought he was so good as Batman.
Well, even just with barely any dialogue for that opening scene,
you understand he's pissed.
And you just bought him as, that guy would dress up as a bat and beat people up.
Now, to get further into the story, everyone, going into it, it's Batman versus Superman. You'd expect there to be more leading into that, and you understand why Ben Affleck is mad, like why Bruce Wayne wants to take down Superman, and they just kind of, Superman really didn't have a reason. I was telling you, I think, at work when we were discussing it, he's like, he's a vigilante, he just does what he wants. I'm just like, wait.
What are you again?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, why would Superman have a beef with Batman at that point?
Yeah, especially considering the fact that, Superman can do anything he wants, really. I mean,
and who's going to stop him? Yeah, I never felt that aspect of the storyline where he's mad at Perry White who won't let him go to cover this story, and we have to cover the things that are important.
It seemed to me at this point like everyone was getting mad at Superman because people are dying because of him, and then
Well,
he's just trying to like,
it-
yeah, it was more of like a setup. But in the past, people had died from him, like Man of Steel, Ben Affleck's perspective of it. But it seemed to me like he was more like a whiny ass, just trying to cover up
like,
his own.
Why doesn't anybody like me?
Yeah, it's like, oh, just ignore everything that's going on about me. It's like he was just trying to push everyone to like get mad at Batman, which really. I mean, I don't even like Superman, but that seems contradicting to his character to me.
Yeah, I didn't like the way, I guess, the character progressed in this film compared to the last film. Now, I know...
I actually like Man of Steel.
I thought it was a very decent superhero film. I didn't think it was spectacular, but a lot of people either seem to love it or really dislike it.
I'm in the middle.
And
I was a dislike on that. I just I couldn't get into Man of Steel at all. I don't know.
What
I expected more. I don't know.
what really worked for me was an emotional connection with Superman, which I didn't think would be possible considering that he's Superman.
Yeah.
But you see him, grow up, and you see him struggling with becoming. Who is he going to become? Is he going to keep hiding? Is he going to? And I was actually able to connect with him, not as a superhero, but as someone struggling to find your place. Those are all very relatable things. And then in this film, I agree. He just seemed whiny and
Self-centered.
yeah. He's running around saving people, but it's like he's blind to
He really
any other
doesn't
perspective.
He doesn't. Yeah, he's blind to every other perspective, and he's not running around saving people. There is one or two scenes where he does save other people, but for the most part, it's like, oh, Lois Lane's in trouble.
Yeah.
And that's the only person that seems to matter.
There's that montage where he's trying to make him trying not to look like the bad guy, where he's saving like the space shuttle blows up and he saves the astronaut crew
or whatever.
And the kid in the fire.
the kids. Yeah, the fire. Yeah.
And then
He does seem like he wants to do good, but again, he's blind to.
He has his own agenda.
Yeah, so I didn't like what they did with the character. Like you said, it felt out of place compared to the previous film.
Even the finale, it comes down to he looks at Lois and he's like, "You are my world. I love you," and then sacrifices himself. Even though I told you, I saw people like, "Why don't you just give the spear to Wonder Woman?" Because she could have done it, and she's not gonna get killed by kryptonite. But that aside, even that seemed more self-serving. Like he's like, "Look, Lois, I love you. Look how much I love you. I'm gonna kill myself because I love you."
Yeah, because he just disappears at one point,
It
and
didn't
Lois
really
is like, I don't know where he is.
Yeah, it's like
he just takes off off the balcony, right? And then
he's
he's up in the Arctic or something, and he talks to his
dead.
Dead.
That conversation I didn't really get anyway, because when I first saw it, I hadn't seen Man of Steel in a while. I was like, I'm pretty sure he's dead, right? He's dead, right? But he has like a conversation where he gets answers and stuff. So your subconscious is answering
like
things
his
for you.
dad's trying to tell him, you can save people, but other people are going to die. That's what I got from it.
So yeah, I mean that's what he's saying. But when you break it down, being as his dad is dead, so he's not really there, so he's kind of just talking to himself in his head. It seems like he's just trying to reassure himself that he can do whatever he wants. And that's just okay.
Thing comes back into it. Yeah,
it's weird how you think about it like that. But I mean, I never really liked Superman, but I do like Henry as Superman, and I did like Man of Steel. And this, I did feel took away from his character a decent amount. He kind of just became why I don't like Superman. He's not really a person; he's a character in this again. And like I always compare him like the fat kid on the playground when you're a kid. I know that you never really had friends, Marcus, but when you have like a group outing. Come back, Marcus. When you have like a little group outing, and, I like the playground, and everyone has powers, and there's that one fat kid, and you're like, oh, I shake my laser vision. He's like, no, you didn't. I have ice breath, and I stopped it. And then he's like, well, then I did this, and he's like, no, because I have telepathy, and it's like Cartman.
Yeah,
and
it's like this is why we don't hang out with you.
Yeah, that's how Superman always was to me, and then this. They kind of started to turn him into that character, and Man of Steel, like you said, made him much more relatable. What do you guys think about the reveal of the other Justice League members?
No, out of place, did not work. That entire, it was so out of place.
The Cyborg one, the whole thing was out of place, but to actually talk about the scenes within them
themselves.
The Cyborg one I didn't mind too much. I didn't mind the Flash one all too much. I didn't really mind any of them except for Aquaman's.
Yeah, we talked about the Aquaman one
Like
after.
immediately, it's
Yeah.
like
What was that?
someone else I saw online said that it looked like he was holding his breath, like it was too obvious.
Mm-hmm.
He's not gonna stop, is he? Even when he did that, it's like.
And then he took off like a rocket.
Yeah, it's like he's all slow mo, like he can't move his arms because he's underwater, and then all of a sudden breaking the sound barrier underwater, if that's the thing. And yeah, not into that. I think
the whole aspect of we're going to show you a quick clip of each one. It was just it didn't fit in this movie at all. It felt tacked on, and it was tacked on.
They had to find a place to introduce them, and that was
the spot.
solution.
And I can't remember if me and you discussed it, but I know that me and Marcus discussed it, and I just keep saying the same thing. Why did you have to introduce them? Everyone knows going into this that there's going to be a Justice League movie, so you already know these characters exist somewhere. You don't need to have them in this movie. You could just have Batman versus Superman. Just do The Dark Knight Returns live action, which you still have to see the animated, but that would have just been perfect. I mean, you could have modified it slightly to where it was a slightly different story, but
even within the confines of this script with Wonder Woman in there, you could still have him send the photo if you want to, because
Wonder Woman,
Wonder Woman, because she's actually in it, and then in the link, if you want, you could have the folders there with the little thing and give little hints, but we don't need to spend more time watching them. And I mentioned to you, maybe to you, why does each one have a logo? Who did Lex Luthor hire to design a logo?
And at this point, the Flash.
Did he name them? Because Wonder Woman's is a W and Aquaman's is a... Did he name them now?
Yeah, because the Flash, he wasn't like in his outfit or anything. It kind of made it seem like he was like not discovered yet. He was kind of hiding or something.
Yeah.
And Cyborg wasn't. He was being created, so it's like they weren't out there with their own logos yet. So.
No. So why?
I mean, Stuckman even said it's like they kind of threw it in people's faces because they thought the audience was too dumb to get it. He's like, why couldn't you just put their name? It's like a little folder with their name. You don't have to make it all fancy looking. I think that they tried to do too much. The studio probably pushed it on them.
Well, the film was delayed a year. Mm-hmm. So I'll bet you're right that the studio pushed
just to get people on the hype train. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, this Justice League movie, these are the guys that are going to be in it.
Here you go.
Let's talk about the Batman vs Superman fight. I expected certain things out of it. I was really hoping for a scene that you get in The Dark Knight Returns with I'd let you borrow him, when he grabs the wrecking ball and swings it and hits Superman with it, and Superman shoots it with his laser eye, catches it and throws it back. Like, things like that would have been really cool to see, but they didn't do those. But overall, the fight was still really good. I thought it was short.
Yeah.
A little short.
It was a good back and forth fight. Mm-hmm. Like, you didn't know who was
who was going to win.
Well,
Batman always wins.
You know,
from the fight itself, it was not immediately obvious.
No,
what was going to happen.
Always, in my heart, Batman always wins. Batman can't lose.
I did want the fight to be longer. I also... A significant portion of it was just picking the other one up and throwing him through a wall.
Yeah, that did happen quite a bit.
I wanted more, I don't know, like fast-paced punching, and I wanted...
I wanted the Dark Knight Returns animated fight scene. That one was perfectly done.
Yeah.
Everything about it.
Yeah.
They had some cool lines, though. Like when he was like, "You're not brave, men are brave." Mm-hmm. But I think compared to like the Avengers and stuff like that, it's my favorite mashup film.
The other thing about this film was the editing. There's one point in particular that really took... Now, luckily it was near the end. Very near the end, they're at the funeral for Clark Kent. And they're talking, Lois is down there, and Batman's with... I think he's standing off to the side with Wonder Woman. And then suddenly it cuts, and it's Lex Luthor in prison, and Batman shows up and starts interrogating.
Yeah, that was a little weird.
And then it cuts back, and now we're back at the...
funeral. Mm-hmm. It should have been like after all the funeral stuff, but they probably wanted to come back to see the dirt rising.
Yeah. So that either cut the scene or make it a post-credit scene. That would have been a really cool post-credit scene, because he's talking about, he's coming. Now, who's coming? How does he know? There's actually a deleted scene that was released on I think the Warner Brothers website or something, of Lex Luthor still in the Genesis chamber or whatever, and the SWAT shows up, so I'm assuming it's after Doomsday's been killed, and he's talking with some alien of some kind, and then he disappears, and he just sort of looks up at them when his eyes are kind of... So I'm assuming someone told him that whoever the big villain of Justice League is going to be is coming, and that's what he's talking about at the end, where he's driveling and yeah, he's coming. But that scene just didn't belong where it was at.
Well, I mean, I didn't like the fact that they went back on killing Superman. I thought it would have been great if he died, and you don't
end it.
Yeah, just end it. I mean, bring him back in the next one.
Mm-hmm. All right, I just wanted to touch on Lois Lane's role in the entire movie.
Yeah, the entire movie.
Because
the bathtub scene, though.
Yeah.
Another scene that
I was kind of surprised by that, being in what was rated PG-13, right?
Yeah.
That they got really close to showing some skin there.
Yeah, those kids the parents brought kids into our theater, and they seemed uncomfortable in a few parts of this movie, and I was like, well, it did say PG-13, and it has a rated R extended cut, so I mean,
I just feel like Lois Lane was too involved
in everything.
But she's a prize-winning reporter, so she goes everywhere and gets involved with everything. So it's fine.
I just couldn't. No, I couldn't get into it with she was at the fight, and she broke it up basically because Batman's stepping on his neck, so Superman can't really talk. So she translates, I guess.
What's that mean? What does that mean? It's his mother.
And then that totally
oh,
wait a second, that's my mom too.
We should be friends.
Yeah.
And and then she picks up the spear, and she decides the best thing to do with it, I'm gonna drop it in this deep pool of water.
It almost made sense, except for you kind of also assume at that point they're gonna need it later. But I guess she didn't know about.
She didn't want it to hurt Superman,
so I'm gonna put it in a pool.
The whole movie's basically just their personal preference dictating what happens to the world.
Yeah.
Batman or Superman doesn't want people to get on his case, so direct things towards Batman. And then Lois I don't want things to hurt Superman, so let's just risk the safety of the world by getting rid of the only weapon that can kill this other creature.
I love you.
Though I'm not sure that she knew about him.
I love you, but I have to go, save the world, but I need to save you too. It's he's conflicted between saving one person and the entire world. It's really?
The other problem, and other people have mentioned it, like Chris Stuckman, who me and Marcus watch pretty regularly, he mentions, if you saw the one trailer, you basically knew the whole outline of this movie.
Yep.
And it's beyond true. I mean, it destroyed it.
They just cut it to make it look like the Batman-Superman fight was this epic thing, but in reality it was mostly the Doomsday fight, and they just cut it together to make it look like it was Batman and Superman.
Lex Luthor, what did you think of Jesse Eisenberg's impersonation?
Honestly, I found him very annoying.
Yeah, he was kind of annoying.
He was kind of... They couldn't...
It's Cherry.
That was weird. that was just... he had his finger in the guy's mouth. What?
And then he licked his finger afterwards.
Yeah. I just didn't they almost didn't know how, to make him... He was whiny and psychotic, but they didn't, it wasn't so much evil. He was just more...
He just hated God.
That was I never really...
And he saw Superman as God.
Well, a God.
A God.
So he wanted to take him out.
We're gonna... See, unlike Batman, who you could actually understand why he wants to take Superman out, Lex Luthor was sort of, I'm rich and I'm evil, so I want to take him out.
Granny's peach tea.
I didn't mind him as much as you two did as far as the actual performance. I thought the character was written rather poorly.
His acting is just what you'd expect from Jesse Eisenberg. I like him in other things.
They went for
He's
something
just not
different
meant for that character. And
for Lex Luthor.
It was a horrible idea. Lex Luthor is who he
candidates.
is, and he's also an iconic character and Superman's biggest arch nemesis usually. So why would you change how he is?
And in this, it was, not to cut you off, but in this it was more he was Batman's arch nemesis.
In a weird way.
In a weird way, because...
They're both battling to get the same piece of equipment, and then Superman stops Batman from taking out criminals to tell him not to do that anymore while he keeps doing it.
I was going to ask you guys how you felt about the there was a couple of dream sequences. How
I
you guys
love 'em.
felt about the dream sequences?
I liked it. I like when he went back because it reminds me of I think it's Injustice the game. I mean, you were talking about it.
Yeah.
That's kind of what the dream sequences remind me of. And the
Yeah.
Flash comes through at the one part and says he's everything that you think he is. Don't trust him. Blah blah blah. So I think that that's what the Justice League is going to become. It's going to be something's going to happen. They've already set up how strong the love relationship is between Superman and Lois Lane because they had to cram that down your throat. I think that's why they did it. They want you to really believe that they're that in love, so that when something happens to her in the future, then Superman goes off and goes AWOL and does crazy stuff. You're like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
I do know that the scene with Batman fighting in the desert or whatever, where he's fighting everybody, that was a really cool shot. It was a long take with the camera panning around, but again, that dream felt so out of place because it's
Kind of comes out of nowhere.
He just goes to sleep and it happens.
Where is all these the Superman soldier, the Nazi helmets? That I can understand why he's thinking that would happen, but then there's these demon things dropping from the sky, and there's a giant emblem in the sand, which is, I guess, Darkseid or something.
It's all other things that happen in the
But again,
DC
why
universe.
is he? Why is this things that Bruce Wayne is thinking about?
Well, that's the problem.
If he were having a nightmare, wouldn't it be in Metropolis?
It's
Wouldn't
not so
it be...
much a nightmare, I don't think. It's
it
more
a
of like
vision?
kind of more like a vision. And
So
then
who's sending him this vision?
well, the Flash comes through at one point and says something. So people are kind of like the whole thing is confusing. So that's what the main issue is with it. I understand where they were trying to go with it. It's just hard to understand what's actually happening. Why don't we get into Wonder Woman?
I was very much prepared to hate her, simply because she's only been in one or two, I think a couple of the Fast and Furious films with one or two lines, and she's mostly a model. Mm-hmm. So I was very much prepared to be
Like
annoyed.
100 pounds.
But
very big
I didn't
woman.
think she was bad.
I thought she was really good, actually.
I thought so too.
The second she shows up, like the electric guitar thing starts playing, and the weirdest music, I was like, oh, it was actually pretty good. I was like, this is intense. I like this, and she did really well in the action scenes, and I thought her acting was great, even in the other roles, except for it is kind of reminiscent. I think Stuckman discusses this with the Flick Pick, how Dark Knight Rises with Selena Kyle and Bruce Wayne. That's kind of her relationship with him in this.
They even meet at a dance ball thing.
There's a lot of references.
You could see that they want to make them like almost a love. They're going to be like a love interest, maybe in the Justice League movie.
Yeah, maybe.
I could see it.
I could see it happening. They didn't cram it down your throat like Lois Lane and Superman, but it could be there.
Vomit worthy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I actually was very pleased with how it came out compared to what my expectations were. Another thing that I thought worked really well inside the film was the score.
I really liked it, yeah.
By Hans Zimmer and Tom Holkenborg. It's not as iconic as any of the previous music for Batman, but it
had a really nice dark vibe.
But it worked inside the film very well. The opening credits is the best track.
Yeah, it's really, really good. It's just so dark, and like it had like a Danny Elfman kind of vibe, and I liked it.
It was built and built and built.
Yeah, it's the only music that really I noticed in the
That
whole
you were
movie.
thinking
Otherwise,
about.
I was more into
Watching.
the action going on. Yeah. All right, so one thing that got me was Batman actually killing people.
Yeah, it was a little off-putting. I've said it before. He does it in other movies, but they don't. It's like he's not supposed to be doing it. But in I think it's the second one, Batman. What's the name of that one?
What the original Tim Burton was?
Yeah, it was the second one.
Is it Batman Returns?
Yes, there it is. I don't know why I was having such a Brad Pitt on that. I was having a very bad brain fart. In that one, the Batmobile, he's in like a warehouse or something, I forget, and it drops a bomb out of it and it just blows up, and he's safe in the Batmobile, but he blew up a building with people in it. So, I mean, he definitely killed people before, and people have mentioned it, but this one, he's like outright. It's not even like implied. It's like he does it. Like he kills people.
Yeah, like in the desert dream sequence.
Well, that's the dream sequence, but
still, you're
Yeah.
not expecting it. He's shooting people point blank. Like,
yeah, with a gun.
With a gun, and it's
Machine
just,
guns, pistols,
Batman doesn't
breaking a
use
neck. He
guns.
broke a dude's neck.
Yeah, he did.
It's pretty cool though.
Yeah, it was.
One time I actually wanted to shoot the guy was when the guy was pointing the flamethrower at Martha.
Yeah.
I wanted to just shoot him in the head.
Yep.
I thought that would have been a definitive statement, but instead then he goes, oh, I'm going to shoot for the tank, and then I got to jump and cover her to make sure she doesn't burn.
But before that, he stabbed the dude to a wall, and that was pretty cool.
That was-
He didn't kill him though.
You didn't kill him.
Well, that whole fight sequence was my favorite scene from the film.
It was exactly like something out of Arkham Asylum or Arkham Knight or Arkham City, any of those games.
Yeah.
It was so good. It was probably the best action Batman has ever done, ever.
And the last thing to hit on, the final fight, where everything and anything explodes.
Yes.
I messaged you before you saw it, telling you
That I was going to have issues with this. There's stuff should be destroyed. There should be consequences. Things should go wrong. That doesn't mean that every 5 minutes there's a gigantic explosion.
and you can't see anything that's going on.
No,
Where's Wonder Woman? She was over there. Oh, there she is. now that I can see the screen again.
Yeah.
it was too much. Not that there shouldn't be explosions, but it was just too big, too often.
Too much.
And it just, if that's not going to kill Batman, then I guess nothing will, so...
Well, he wasn't really there. He was kind of hanging out in
He was
buildings and
flying
hiding and
whatever.
What was it? Superman that got thrown into the? I think it was a train tanker, or was it?
Oh, it just blows up,
It
yeah.
just
I believe it was
blows up.
him. It's either him or Wonder Woman. Definitely wasn't Batman. A lot of people made jokes about him not really having any involvement in the fight. I thought he was involved. He did what he could, which I think
Yeah.
it speaks for the character. I mean, it's clearly a situation that's way over any mortal's head, and he was like, I'm not leaving.
And yeah, if
Just
not
did
for
what he
his,
could.
intelligence.
Yeah, and his kryptonite
his kryptonite
gun.
He created the
spear,
weapons.
And yeah,
And then Wonder Woman's lasso shows up from nowhere.
Yeah.
she
I
only
don't-
uses it once, right?
Yeah.
Just that
Yeah.
one time.
And I mean,
I was wondering if they were ever going to do it.
I knew she had it. It just...
That's like her main
Whatever.
deal.
It would have been really great if she's like hanging on to him, the lasso, and out of nowhere he just gets like plowed down. You're like, what was that? And like everyone there's like, an invisible jet.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what it was. All right, so this is gonna be our final thoughts on it. I guess I'll start. I really like it. Like I said previously, I like it better than the Avenger movies, and I think they're good. So I guess out of 5, I'm gonna give it a 3.8 out of 5.
Okay. Jay?
I thought overall I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was a little too long. They kind of stuck some stuff in there that they didn't really need. The acting for the most part I liked, so I'd probably go with a 3.5 on this one. Not my favorite superhero movie.
I had, I think, more issues with the story than anything else, which took me out of it a little bit. I did enjoy most of the performances, some of the action. It definitely was too long. 3 out of 5.
Overall, not bad.
Not bad.
Definitely worth a watch, I'd say. I'm Preston.
I'm Marcus.
This is Jay. And we'll be seeing you next time.